Hello, this is GAMEZOMATIK and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a pickup video, and this is going to be a bloody long one because it's been a while. Hello, this is Simon from GAMEZOMATIK and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a pickup video. And it's been a long time since I've done one of these. I think the last one I did was kind of mid-September. Well, and that wasn't even a pickup video, that was kind of something with some pickups kind of thrown onto it. But this is a proper pickup video, and it's been a while since I've done a proper pickup video. Yeah, so I think the last time I did any pickups was kind of mid-September. So I've got a massive pile of stuff to get through here. Really kind of about 4 or 5 stacks of games here, because kind of got all of October stuff and a little bit of, it's the 7th of November now, so a little bit of November here as well, and kind of the tail end of September as well. So kind of stacked it all up here next to me, and I'm going to go through it. It's that time of year, isn't it, when everything's coming out at once and you just get very skint very quick. Yeah, so I'm just going to crack on with it because otherwise we're going to be here for about 2 hours. So first thing I'm going to show is something that came out a couple of weeks ago. I know quite a lot of people have been playing this and picked this up. I've just finished it. It's fantastic, possibly my game of the year. It's one of my favourite series on any ever, and that's Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. This totally didn't disappoint. This was, you know, some people saying, oh well, you know, it's not as good as the first one, or they're just talking crap. It's every bit as good as the first one. It kind of builds on that and just takes it to that next level. I just love this series, really enjoyed it. I've just finished it, but it's still got a lot of these little side missions, kind where you go off and you've got to find these commandos and kill them, and that unlocks other stuff in the game, so I've got to go back into it and do them. Possibly my game of the year, I think, so far. There's been a few this year that I always do like a best of the year kind of round up at the end of each year, but you can guarantee this is going to figure pretty high up in that list. I've enjoyed every single minute of this game. It totally did not disappoint. This is the collector's edition. I know quite a few people have got this. Really reasonable. I actually was made up because Game, where I got it from, originally it was when it first was advertised as collector's edition, it was advertised at £89. And then because I pre-ordered it, they dropped it to £59, so I actually got it cheap. And then after day of release, it went up to £89 again. It's funny because when I went on the Game website the other day, you can't get this anymore. It's sold out. So I don't know whether everyone picked up this version of it because of the low price on it. But yeah, it's already, maybe not online, but definitely at Game, where, you know, I buy a lot of stuff from in the UK. You can't get it anymore. This is the old Terribility edition with the kind of the doll, if you like, and you get all kind of extra stuff with it. It's got a nice tea. I'm not going to do an unboxing of it because a couple of other people have already done that, but we'll be here all day. But it's a fantastic game. Oh, just the graphics in it, the story is totally you know, proper. It's a proper single player story-led game, you know, and you shoot Nazis in it. So, and you know, it's funny, I finished this, I think, just at the tail end of last week, and I went from this straight into, I'll just put this down a minute, I went from that straight into Call of Duty World War II, which I bought on Friday. I picked it up on Friday. I do like the Call of Duty games, but I only play the campaigns, and I don't play online, and I'm not really a big fan of the zombies. I used to be, but it's kind of been done to death now, and to me you'll never beat kind of the Black Ops zombie maps. They were the best ones, but I don't really play online anyway. I'm not an online player. So I played Call of Duty World War II, picked up on Friday, and played through the campaign at the weekend. It's a relatively short campaign. I mean, I didn't hammer it, and yeah, I finished it over the weekend. You know, I wasn't just sat there all day playing it both days. You know, I kind of played it on Saturday morning, played it Saturday night. I did play it quite a lot on Sunday, and then kind of finished it Sunday night. I kind of bought it on Friday, played the single player campaign over the weekend, and then traded it in again on Monday so I could get the lion's share of the money back. I think I made a loss of about £3 altogether on it, because I knew when I got it on the Friday that I'd be able to pretty much get my money back on the Monday, and that's kind of the way, you know. And I tend to do that with Call of Duties. I do enjoy the campaigns, so I tend to buy them, play them campaigns through pretty quickly. I'm not normally one to rush through a game, but I always do with Call of Duty, just so I can get the money back and then trade it back in on a Monday. I did enjoy Call of Duty World War 2, but it's still not as good as the Medal of Honor series, in my opinion. I like this fact they've gone back to World War 2, but they didn't really do anything with it, and it could have been done. There's some really nice action set pieces in there, and it looks great, and graphically it's, you know, fantastic. And I do like what they've done with the health system. It's not that thing anymore where you just hide behind cover and you've got to and then it rebuilds. They've actually brought health packs back, which I'm a big fan of. I'd rather have that. I can't stand this regenerating health thing, it does my head in. There's a couple of really nice features in there where you can a bit like Bioshock Infinite, where you can call across to squad members and they like kind of throw first aid at you, or they'll throw ammunition to you, a bit like Elizabeth did in Bioshock Infinite, where she kind of replenish your ammo and stuff like that. So they've kind of brought that into the game. You can tell they've pinched it from Bioshock. It was a good game and I did enjoy it, but not enough to kind of keep hold of it, because I'm not going to play the multiplayer. I don't play Call of Duty multiplayer at all, so yeah, I've traded that in, and then when it goes down to like £5-6, as it inevitably will, like most Call of Duties do, eventually I'll pick it up again to bang in the collection. But you know, I did enjoy it, but I thought they would have tried a couple of new things with it, and they didn't really. It did feel very much like playing you know, kind of a PS2 or Xbox One era Call of Duty game, you know, just with a lot better graphics. That was pretty much the only difference. And I still think Medal of Honor is the better series out of it. If you're going to pick, you know, the first couple of Medal of Honor games are just like unbeatable as far as I'm concerned. So, well, pretty much all of them actually. I'm a big fan of Medal of Honor. So yeah, because that's the kind of World War II dealt with. Actually, I did pick up this as well, going back to Wolfenstein, which is the collector's edition strategy guide. I do pick these up when I can. I love these. I love the artwork and stuff in these. It's just, I mean, these are really, you could just sit and read these like a book anyway and just flick through them. I tend not to read until after I finish the campaign, because with the new strategy guides it gives a lot of it away, but because I finished the game Wolfenstein last Friday, pretty late on, I've been kind of reading this over the weekend, flicking through it. Some really nice artwork in there, and I got some kind of prints and things with it as well, which was really nice. So just a really nice companion piece to have to one of my favourite kind of genres. I don't think, if I remember rightly, there wasn't a strategy guide for the New Order, unfortunately, or if there was, I've never seen it. So it's nice that they actually bothered to bring one out for that. So yeah, so what else did I pick up over the period I've been away from YouTube? Well, in October it was my birthday, and as you do on your birthday, you get showered with gifts, or in my case, showered with cash, because that's what I always ask for. People always say, what do you want for your birthday or Christmas? And I always just say cash. Cash works, money works, you can spend it on what you want, and it's easier for the person who's buying as well, isn't it? You know, they don't have to go out sourcing a particular type of thing. You know, some people say that if you get money for your birthday or Christmas, that it's just a bit lazy, but nah, I'll have that any day. Anyway, going back to pickups, the reason I bring that up is because it was my birthday. I got my wife gave me some money, and my dad gave me some money, and I'd saved up a bit of money, and I eventually picked up something I've been wanting to pick up since release, and haven't been able to afford. Also did a little bit of trading in, and a little bit of selling on eBay to make up the difference for the money. And what did I sell? I can't remember what I sold, but anyway, I picked up the old PlayStation VR. I was gonna do an impressions video on the VR, but I didn't get around to it simply because I think one of the reasons I didn't bother is because there's so many of them anyway on the internet. Although I still might do my kind of thoughts and impressions on various games. Yeah, I was in two minds whether to get this due to the price point, and I wanted to leave it. I'm not going to hold it up there for the next half hour, but yeah, I'll put a picture up so you know what I'm talking about. I wanted to leave it a year to see how it went, because I didn't want to get one on release and then if it totally bombed and no one bought it, just be stuck with this thing that I'd paid like £300 or whatever, or $500 for, or whatever, and then just be stuck with it. But it's been like a year now since it's been out, and Sony, I think, have done a really kind of good job of supporting it, and there's some really nice stuff coming out on it. You've got Doom VR coming out, which looks amazing, and it's a totally new story, and I loved the original Doom. Well, I love the new Doom that came out. Fallout 4 is coming out on VR, which is fantastic, because even though I have played Fallout 4, I only played probably about 30, I only played about 40 hours of it, which sounds a lot, but it's not really, not for Fallout. So I'm looking forward to replaying it in VR, because I think that would work really, really well. Skyrim also is coming out on VR. I'm a bit like that about Skyrim, simply because I've already played it once, and I sank about 200 hours into that game. And the only thing that puts me off, even though it's in VR and I think it'll look great, is do I want to go back and sink another 200 hours into a game that I've already played just because it's kind of VR? But I probably will, just to see what it looks like, because I think it would probably look really good in VR. I was kind of a bit of a VR skeptic, to be honest. I wasn't, unlike most people as well, I'd never, before I put this on the day I bought it, I've never even tried VR. I've never put it on. And I didn't know whether it was going to make me feel sick, or whether it was going to kind of affect me in any kind of way, or what my impressions of it would be. And I got it, and the first game I put on was this game, if I can find it here, which is a game that I bought with it. Rush of Blood, and I'd say within about 20 seconds of it booting up, I was sold. I was absolutely sold. I absolutely love this bit of kit. It's fantastic. I've been playing Drive Club VR, and once I played that, I can't really imagine going back to a normal driving game. You know, not that the actual game itself is the greatest driving game out there, Drive Club VR. It's very good, but the total immersion you get wearing this thing, where you're actually sat in the car and you can look round, and you've got the passenger seat next to you, look behind you, you've got the back seats out the window. It's just so immersive. And I think every driving game should be brought out on this. A lot of people said Drive Club VR made them feel motion sickness. I was absolutely fine. I played it for like over an hour and not felt anything. So it must go from kind of person to person. Batman VR, I played that. It was brilliant. That is just amazing. It's very short, but it's just a total immersive Batman experience. Really, really good. And another game that I've been replaying, it's a game that I played originally normally, but I had to play through it again in VR, and I can kind of see what all the hype was about now. It's absolutely fantastic. It's Resident Evil. And playing this in VR, it's just a totally different experience. It's absolutely amazing, and it shows you what you can do with it. It's so scary as well. It is absolutely terrifying, but you know, I'd love to see. There's so many good games that they could do in VR. I'd love to see like Dishonored in VR, or I'd love to see like Wolfenstein or Call of Duty in VR. Even that would be amazing. You know, there's so many good games, and I just hope they continue to support it. Plus, there's a lot of little games out there, kind of little indie games. I've been playing a game called The Soulless Project, which was kind of got mediocre reviews. It's kind of game where you like crash onto a planet and you've got to survive, but then you play it in VR and it takes it to a whole different level, and it turns this kind of mediocre game where you're kind of wandering around the planet trying to find your way home into this really immersive experience, which is quite creepy. You know, there's bits in that game where you go into caves under the ground and there's like a smoke monster trying to kill you, and you play that in VR and it's pretty terrifying. You know, it's pretty scary. It's just, I'm so impressed with the hardware, and it's, you know, I'm extremely impressed with the way Sony are continuing to support it. There's some really good VR stuff still coming out later this year, or into next year. I'm really looking forward to. So yeah, I made up. Yeah, I got the PlayStation VR and I highly recommend it. It is a bit pricey, but you know, mine was pre-owned. It wasn't a brand new unit. I actually bought it second hand. It was absolutely fine. It was totally spotless when I got it. I got the Move controllers and the camera and everything with it. So yeah, you can pick up a bundle now for a reasonably decent price if you look around. Anyway, I better crack on with these other games because I've literally touched on like two things. So yeah, I'll just go through some of the PS4 stuff first and get some of the newer stuff out of the way. So yeah, like I said, I've been playing Resident Evil, picked that up again on the PlayStation because I wanted to play it in VR. Fantastic. Rush of Blood, which is again a great, I think this is free this month on PlayStation Plus, so add it to your list in case you ever pick up a VR. This is a fantastically fun game and really scary in places. Yeah, fantastic. The game I've kind of started playing over the weekend is Assassin's Creed Origins. Now, anyone who watches my channel regularly knows that I am a massive Assassin's Creed fan, and this is fantastic. I'm really enjoying this. I mean, I played every single Assassin's Creed game from the beginning. I remember buying the first Assassin's Creed. I remember getting it day of release, it coming through the door on the 360 and just playing it for like a month afterwards. I absolutely loved it, and I pretty much liked all the Assassin's Creed. The only one that I couldn't really take to that well was Assassin's Creed 3, the one with what was his name, the protagonist Connor. That one I just found that one a little bit boring, to be honest. I found the character a little bit uninspiring. But all the other Assassin's Creed, even the ones everyone else hates, I really love. I loved Syndicate. I thought it was fantastic. I liked Rogue. Black Flag is my favourite one. I even liked Unity. You know, got a lot of hate that game, but because it wasn't patched, you know, basically because it didn't work properly when it came out. But you know, it's been patched, and I played it, and I completed that game, and I even completed all the DLC in it. Really, really solid game, and I liked that setting. This is great. This is, you know what, I'm kind of torn. This is kind of up there, possibly with Black Flag, and Black Flag's my favourite one. I don't know. I really enjoyed Syndicate, which was the last one. That was the one set in London. For anyone who hasn't played it, so to say I like this more than Syndicate, I do and I don't. I prefer the characters in Syndicate. I loved Jacob and Evie. I thought they were fantastic characters, and I thought that game was really funny with a really good story as well. And I loved everything about Syndicate. But this one it still feels like Assassin's Creed, but it's this is more open worldy. This is massive. The map on this game is huge, and this reminds me a little bit in places of The Witcher. Actually, it's that big. But it's still Assassin's Creed. It's still an Assassin's Creed game. I'm just really enjoying it, but I'm kind of biased because I love Assassin's Creed games. I actually got the gold edition, which came with the season pass, and I don't normally buy season passes straight out the door. I normally wait and see what's in them or whatever, and then I'll buy it. The reason I got this is because Ubisoft were doing an offer, and I think they're still doing it, where it's if you've got some of their Ubisoft points, you know, the points that you earn inside the game, if you've got like 100 of them, you can actually get 20% off the game. So essentially what I did was I ordered it straight from Ubisoft, and I got the game I got the game with the season pass for the price of the regular game. So essentially I got the season pass for nothing, and I think the season pass is like 30 quid or something. So and because I've actually got another code, because I've got something like 300 Uplay points, so I used one set of 100 points to get 20% off, used it on this, and I've actually used another 100 to get another 20% code, which I've actually saved the code, and I'm going to use that for Far Cry 5 when that comes out, because I'm also a big Far Cry fan, and hopefully get the season pass for free with that one as well, so because I've got another code there. But yeah, really enjoying this game, but then like I said, I'm a big fan of the series. I love the setting. It's graphically it's amazing, and playing it, because I'm playing it on a 4K TV with the Pro, it just looks stunning. I mean, it looks absolutely stunning. There's kind of these big open vistas, you can climb up the pyramids and you can see out for miles and miles across the valleys with all kind of the Egyptian like, you know, the waterlogged farms, and it just looks amazing, and it's such good fun. They've changed the fighting style a little bit. People are saying it plays like Dark Souls, and it doesn't really. It's got the same lock-on mechanic as Dark Souls. I can see what they're getting at, but it takes a little bit of getting used to the new fighting system within this game. But it's still fantastic fun, and I'm loving every minute of it. And I haven't really put this down. This is the game I keep going back to since I got it. So, and now I finished Wolfenstein, I can totally throw my time into Assassin's Creed. Another game that I picked up. This game I already had on PC, but I kind of saw it cheap, and I wanted to play it on the PS4 because it's Pro enhanced. Like I said, I got the new 4K telly the other month, so I was trying to get games that kind of complement that. That is Ghost Recon Wildlands. Another game which, you know, kind of got a bit of a slating, but I've really enjoyed. A lot of people don't like these Ubisoft games because they do tend to like structure all their games the same. But for me personally, it doesn't bother me. I like the way they structure their games. You know, I like all these little side missions and collectibles. I love kind of going through all these different parts of the map and looking for the last treasure chest, or, you know, going over and finding the last gun, or the last, you know, doing a mission to unlock the latest scope for a gun. And I've just had so much fun with this game. You know, I can't really say anything bad. The only thing I will say about this game is it can be slightly repetitive in places, but I think most games, unless you're playing a single player narrative kind of based game, all games are repetitive by nature anyway, because essentially you are kind of doing the same stuff throughout the entire game. So, but yeah, really enjoying that. Again, these two games I picked up yesterday. Actually, I traded in Call of Duty, so I had some credit, and I was looking for something a bit different. This is a game that's just come out, and I played a little bit. I played it on the PC ages ago. The original version of it, I think it might have been a demo. I didn't remember owning the entire game, but I just remember thinking it was a little bit different, and something I just wanted something slightly different. And this is Mud Runner, and this is a weird. It's not even a game; it's more of a sim. Basically, you've got to drive these kind of big, heavy, articulated lorries and kind of jeeps and things over this big kind of map, but it's all real world physics. So you've got this truck and it's sinking into a mud, and you've got to drive across lakes and you kind of deliver stuff from A to B, but you've got to navigate the environment, and you kind of get stuck in various parts of the environment, and you've got a winch. It's a hard game to explain. It's more of a kind of simulation game, to be honest. But it's just, sometimes I just get sick of running around shooting things, or the majority of games is either shooting things or driving something, and this is a little bit of a different. This is kind of a kick back and relax kind of game. It's really tough in places, but it looks fantastic, and it's like I said, I only got it yesterday and I was playing it last night, and I'm really really enjoying it. It's really frustrating in parts. I was going across a field trying to be clever, getting from A to B, and the lorry I was driving just totally got stuck in this field and sank into the field, and because there were no trees around, I couldn't winch myself out, so I ended up just kind of abandoning this lorry in the middle of the field. But it's one of those games, it sounds boring when you kind of explain it, but when you actually play it, it's a lot of fun. So I've really been enjoying that. And another game I picked up was this one, because it had been reduced. I did want to get this originally on PC, and then I found out it was out on PS4, and the price has just been dropped on it. And that's Shadow Tactics. And the reason I got this is because it's basically like a Japanese Shogun version of Commandos. It's that kind of game, and I loved Commandos. I was a massive Commandos fan back in the day. Commandos 2 is one of my favourite games period of all time. I love that game, and they haven't made any games like that for years. There was Desperados, Commandos. There was another one years ago on the PC called Robbing a Sherwood. That sort of game where those kind of strategy games where you can top-down stealth strategy games, and this has had fantastic reviews. It looks beautiful, and it's a really nice setting, and this was really cheap. I think this was 20 quid, reduced to £20, and it's only been out about a month or so, and it was like 40 odd quid when it came out. But Game were doing it for 20 quid at the moment, so I used a bit of trade and got that as well. So I've just played the tutorial out on that and really enjoyed it. So this is probably what I'm going to be playing today, between this and a bit more Assassin's Creed. So that's all the PlayStation 4 stuff done. A couple of PS2 games. Got Kill Switch. This is a game I had on PC years ago. Used to enjoy it. This is one of the very first. Actually, I don't know if I covered this on the last pickup video. I apologise if I did, but this is one of the very first cover shooters. Before Gears of War and all that came out, this was one of the very, very first cover shooters, and it's made by Namco. And it's a really good game. So it's Kill Switch. I'm pretty sure I covered that on the last pickup video though. This one's for Dean, Escape to Gaming, because he's always talking about this game. And I've been meaning to pick it up, and then I actually saw it like in a charity shop for like £1, so I got it. And that is Roadkill, which is a game that I've actually never played. I know Dean's always talking about it, saying it's a fantastic game, so I'm looking forward to having a go on it. Unfortunately, I had no manual in it, but it was only like £1, £1 or something. So yeah, Roadkill. Another game which I've got on PC, but because my new PC doesn't, I could have got it on Steam. It's like £1 something on Steam, but it doesn't support a controller, and I wanted to play it with a controller, so I picked it up. Is Judge Dredd, another game which actually gets quite a lot of hate, but I actually quite like this game. It's a really, really good Judge Dredd game. So, and it's one of the few games that has had. They've only ever made a couple of games with Judge Dredd in, and this is probably the last one they made. I don't understand Rebellion, who actually owned the comic as well, 2008, why they don't make a modern Judge Dredd game, because I'm sure it will go down a storm if they made like a really good kind of first-person shooter or something. But yeah, Judge Dredd, this is a good game. So yeah, Judge Dredd. Like I said, I did own it on a PC, but I can't play it anymore. A couple of PS1 games. Some of these are featured on my PS1 first-person shooters video, which is one of the more recent videos that I did. Shows you how long it is since I've done a pickup video, so that's Disrupt. These two games that I've been after for ages, and I was lucky because I just walked into a cash converters and they had both of these games on the shelf, fairly reasonably priced, so I picked them both up, and two games I've been after for ages. So yeah, Disruptor, so double case, and really good nick as well. So, and the other one I got was Life Force Tenka. A game that I've been after for a while, and again went into a charity shop the other day and they just happened to have it. It is the Platinum, but that doesn't bother me. And so I've kind of got the Holy Trinity. It's the only fighting series that I like. Well, there's two that I like. I like this and I like Injustice, and they're the only two fighting games that I'll play. Pretty much won't play anything else. I didn't mind Soul Calibur back on the Dreamcast, and that is Tekken 3. So I've got Tekken 1, 2 and 3 now. So it's great to have a copy of that. A couple of PlayStation 2 games. So these are just cheap ones, you know, kind of scouting around charity shops and things, and been picking stuff up that's been really cheap, and just to kind of bulk out the collection, and games that I've wanted as well. So first one was Full Auto 2, a fantastic driving combat game. One of the few driving combat games that I have played. Originally I had the original of this on the 360, and it was one of the first driving games. One of the first driving games I ever got on the... Again, I don't know if I spoke about this in the last pickup video. I can't remember because it's been such a long time since I've done a pickup video. I can't remember whether I mentioned this on the last one. But the first Full Auto was one of the first driving games I ever played. It's one of the games that I think we got with our Xbox 360. I remember me and my son at the time, he loved it. We just hammered the first one on the 360. This is the sequel. It's funny because the original only ever came out on the 360 and the sequel only ever came out on the PS3. It was, weirdly enough. But this is fantastic. This is just... It's not that much different from the original one, but everything's upgraded and slightly better. The graphics are slightly better. It runs a hell of a lot smoother. Just a really good combat car game. Picked this up, it was 50p. Binary Domain. I picked this up because I've heard nothing but good reviews about it. I haven't played it yet, but yeah, it was like 50 pence or something, so I picked that up. This is another game I have got. I had it on PC. I actually had the boxed version on PC in the original box, but it doesn't, for some reason, it doesn't work on modern systems. When you install it, it installs fine, and when you go to play it, it kind of says can't find disc, even when you've got the disc in the machine. And it's really cheap to pick up anyway on console, so I just picked it up on console. Really underrated third person cover shooter actually. Terminator Salvation. Yeah, based on the film of the same name, which I actually thought wasn't that bad. I thought Terminator Salvation was much better than the last Terminator film. Was it Genesis or whatever it was called? Which I couldn't really take to at all. I just couldn't get into that film. Mercenaries 2 from the Mighty Pandemic. Another game, again, I've got it on PC. A lot of these are games that I've had on PC. I've already owned in the past, but on PC and on discs, and my current PC doesn't have a disc drive on it, even though I have got another PC there that has. It's just cheaper and easier to pick them up, and you don't have to mess around with controllers and all that. So some of these older games, it is easier to pick them up on a console. So yeah, again, that was like £1. great game. I really miss Pandemic. I wish, if there's one studio I wish they hadn't closed down, it was Pandemic. Damn you, EA. Blazing Angels 2. Yeah, I picked that up in a shop because I actually have both of them. Fortunately not on the same console, because I picked up Blazing Angels. I do like my flight sim games, especially like combat flight sim games. And this is a great set of pair of games. The second one's better than the first one. The first one's good, but the second one's much better. So that's Blazing Angels 1, Squadrons of World War 2, and then I got Blazing Angels 2, Secret Missions of World War 2. Great games. Again, easy to pick up, really cheap. They were like £1 each or something. And I think that's all the PS3 stuff. I've got 2 Xbox original games. Gun Griffon. I just happened to be in a CEX store and I was paying at the counter and then noticed this on the counter. It was in a big pile of games that they got in and they hadn't put out on the shelf yet. So I said to the guy, "Oh, how much is that?" And I think he said like £3.50. So I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll have that. Go on, stick that. I'll have that as well." So it's a great game. I mean, I love these kind of mech games anyway, and Gun Griffon is a great series. I've got the original Gun Griffon. Is it Gun Griffon? I can't remember what it's called. I think it's just called Gun Griffon. Might be wrong. On the PS2. So this is kind of an Xbox version of that, but it's much better. Graphically, it's much better. I think it's a kind of a sequel. This is Gun Griffon Allied Strike. Really good game, worth picking up. Staying with the theme of flight sims as well. Got loads of like combat flight sim type games this month. Secret Weapons Over Normandy. Been after this one for a while because it's made by LucasArts. Normally see it on PS2, but I wanted it on the Xbox original because graphically it's slightly better. So, yep, picked that one up. And then everything else I've got, it's been on the. Oh, missed some down here as well. Has been on the Xbox 360, and I've been having a bit of a mad Xbox 360 splurge. Now it's quite funny because out of all the generations of console, I've always kind of preferred PlayStation, bar I think I always get mixed. Is it the 6th gen? PS3 and Xbox? I can't remember if it's 6th or 7th. I'm no good with generation numbers. Anyway, whatever, that generation, Xbox 360 and PS3, I actually preferred the 360. I just, mainly because it did 1080. A lot of PS3 games only came out in 720, whereas the counterparts on the 360 came out in 1080 out. And also thought, you know, it was a slightly more accessible machine. I do like the PS3, got loads of PS3 games, but the only thing that bugs me slightly about the PS3 is a lot of the games only came out in 720p, and on the 360 they came out in 1080p. Anyway, I'm totally going off the topic here, but anyway, yeah, so I've been buying quite a few 360 games and I've got a massive pile, and again it's just stuff that either doesn't play too well on a PC anymore. A lot of these are games that I've got on kind of Steam and stuff that don't support controllers, or you know, I don't really play with a mouse and keyboard that much anymore. I prefer just to kick back with a controller, and it's just easier. So I'm going to go through some of these. So the first games I got were Medal of Honor and Medal of Honor Warfighter. Again, really cheap, great games. Love these games. These modern ones kind of got a bit of a slating, and these kind of killed Medal of Honor off. But like both of these were fantastic shooters, and in some ways were better than everyone kind of raves about Modern Warfare. And although it was the first shooter to do modern warfare, if you like, you know, modern military kind of shooter, first person shooter, or of that genre, that kind of Call of Duty, I personally don't think it was particularly the best one. I enjoyed everyone raves about the original Modern Warfare, and I thought it was a good game and I enjoyed it at the time. But if I had to line up every single modern shooter of that era, I don't think that would be my favourite one. Warfighter, I absolutely loved. It got absolutely slated, and I just thought it was fantastic. I absolutely love that game, and the original as well. So yeah, I've got both of them. This game I picked up because I have actually got this on PS2, but I wanted. Well, I'm going to show two games. I've got both of these on the previous gen, but I wanted the upscale graphics on both of these. So the first one is Gun, which is a fantastic Western game. Very much underrated game. And it's so cheap to buy. I mean, even if you get this on PS2 or original Xbox, it's still worth buying, and you can get it for like $1 or £1. It's so cheap. If you find the 360 version, it is a little bit more. I think this cost me £4 or £5, but obviously the graphics are a lot better on it. So yeah, that's good. And another game which I've been after for quite a while on the 360, and it's not the greatest game in the world, to be honest, but it holds a little bit of nostalgia for me, because I remember when I got the 360 there was a demo of this game on one of the very first demo discs that came out with the 360, and I remember just playing the demo for hours and hours and loving the demo, but not actually getting around to ever buying the game on 360, even though I do have it on PlayStation 2, and that's Superman Returns. And it's quite a fun game, actually. Kind of graphics are a bit ropey on it. I mean, you can tell it's like previous gen graphics, and it's not the worst. It's not the best game in the world, but it's certainly by no means the worst either. And it's a lot of fun. So, and it's the only game as well that does the flying mechanic, the Superman flying mechanic right. I played Man of Steel on the original Xbox, and what's the other one? Acopolis. There's another on the PS2, another Superman game on the PS2, kind of a cell shaded one, something of Acopolis or Apocalypse. I can't remember what it's called. And neither of them do the flying right. The flying mechanics on those particular Superman games are both terrible, but they nail it on this one. The flying is perfect on this one. So picked up these two games. I've also got the third game, but I already own that, and that is Fear. Again, another game I've got on the PC, but it's a pain in the arse to play it on the PC. The setup I've got now isn't really amazingly good to play on mouse and keyboard. It's okay for kind of strategy games, but I can't really hunch over and play. I prefer to play with a controller. And the other one is Fear 2. Again, both really cheap. I've also got Fear 3. It's up on the shelf though, so I've got kind of the trilogy now. Fantastic games, and they still play really well. I've been dipping in and out of this one, and it's plays just as good on the 360 as it does on the PC. Obviously it looks a little bit better on the PC, but fantastic games. Another kind of trilogy I've kind of made up, if I can find it. Again, I had the original game. I played the original two games back in the day, but never played the third one. I've always meant to pick it up, so I did. And that is Lost Planet. And so I picked up Lost Planet 2. Which is my least favourite. I say my least favourite, I haven't played the third one yet. But I prefer Lost Planet 1, but picked up the Lost Planet 2 and the Lost Planet 3, which I haven't played yet, and I'm looking forward to playing this one, because I do like the Lost Planet games, even though they're really tough in places, hard as nails. They're really good games, and to me this is like buying a new release, because I've never played it. I've never played this game, so I'm really looking forward to banging that in, and I've heard very good things about it, actually. I've heard it's better than 2, so I kind of fucked up with this one. I bought this was only £1 though. Quake 4. I bought this because I wanted Quake 2, because it says on it comes with a copy of Quake 2. Comes with Quake 4 the making of and Quake 2. Opens it up. This is CEX all over. There was only one disc on. There's supposed to be another disc which has Quake 2 on it, so I'm gonna try and track down another copy of that. I mean, I have got Quake 2 on the PC anyway, but at least I've got a copy of Quake 4, really cheap. Picked up Aliens vs Predator. I just got this game because I really like it. I know it got kind of slated back in the day, but I really enjoy this game, so it's nice to have a copy of that. This is a game that's got fantastic reviews, and this is actually made by, if I can find it, yeah, this is made by Raven Software, which I didn't know, and this X-Men Origins Wolverine. This is one of the few good X-Men games. Kind of a third-person slasher, hack/brawler game, but some really nice ideas in there, and it looks great as well. It's a fantastic looking game. Really, really gory in places. You kind of, you're Wolverine, and he's kind of stabbing people in the stomach and cutting their heads off. This game is just not for children at all. Hence probably why it's got an 18 on it. Really, really violent game, mega violent game, but a lot of fun. And a bit of a hidden gem, I think, on the 360. It's kind of one of those games that I think it gets dismissed a lot because it's tied into a kind of mediocre film, but the game is fantastic, definitely worth buying. What else have we got? So I picked this up because it was against 50p and I didn't have a copy of it. Battlefield Bad Company 2. I've got the first one on 360, so I wanted the second one. These two games, to me, these two games always go hand in hand with each other. I don't know why. Probably because they both came out around the same time. They were both pretty low budget games, and they both got panned by reviewers. But they're both games that I really like. The controls on this game are terrible, but I actually really like the game. I don't know why. That's Turning Point: Fall of Liberty. I really like the premise of this. The kind of that America kind of gets invaded by the Nazis. It's actually, it's not that much different from Wolfenstein actually when you think of the story of it. But I don't know. It's very buggy in places, and the controls are very, I don't know, they're kind of weird, the controls. They're kind of slippy, slidey controls. They're not very precise, that's what the controls aren't very precise on it, but I just really like this game. I don't know why. I just do. And the other one is Legendary, and this is a great game. Again, you can tell it's kind of done on a limited budget. This is an Atari game. And this is great. You kind of battle mythical creatures. So you know, all these kind of mythical creatures kind of appear in modern day cities, and you've got to take them down. And look at that cover art. I mean, that, is kind of facing off with, and then against a griffin, and like there's all kind of different monsters and stuff in it. It's just a really good game. I just really enjoyed it, even though it got slated. So only a couple more to go. Another flying game. IL-2 Sturmovik. I've had this before, but I think I might have traded it in ages ago, and then I found this in a shop for like £1, so I picked it up. It's always a decent game having in the collection, so tough as nails though, but one of the best flight sims you can get on the 360. Really nice graphically as well. I also picked up Splinter Cell Double Agent, simply because I've had it on the PC, and the PC version crashes all the time now. It's a game I've got on Steam. I love Splinter Cell. This isn't my favourite Splinter Cell game, but I still quite like it, and this was like 50p. And the last game that I picked up for this rather long pickup video was The Walking Dead Survival Instinct, which is a game I haven't actually played. Again, I know Dean over at Escape to Gaming has recommended this game. Apparently it's been slated, but it's good enough for Dean, it's good enough for me, and I saw it at a pretty reasonable price. I think it was like £4 or something, so I picked it up. I think it was cheap because it doesn't have the manual. I don't even know if it comes with a manual, but it's a game I've not played, and I do like I say I like the series. I used to like the series. I kind of stopped watching it around season 5, I think, or season 6. So I need to catch up with the series a little bit. But yeah, it's just good to play a Walking Dead game. So I'm looking forward. I haven't tried it yet, so I'm looking forward to giving this one a go and seeing what it's like. And yeah, I think that's about it for now anyway. So yeah, quite a horde, especially 360 games. Yeah, really can get back. I think it's because they've gone down so much and they're so cheap to buy for, but some really great games there to be kind of getting my teeth into. There's not really that much coming out this year, for the rest of this year, that I fancy. The only game that I kind of thought was coming out this year was Far Cry 5, and but apparently that's not coming out till next year now. So all the kind of major releases have been and gone. There's a couple of PlayStation VR games coming out that I wouldn't mind, like the Doom one and things like that. But as far as kind of AAA releases go, there's not much more coming out. So I've got loads here to kind of get my teeth into and be getting on with. So yeah. And that's it. So that's kind of my pickups for October/November. I can't imagine me doing another pickup video now, probably till unless I do maybe a little small one, if I do pick anything up between now and Christmas, but it's probably unlikely. I'm probably going to be January now before I do another pickup video, but I am going to be doing my top games of 2017, so I'll probably be doing that, putting that video together in the next couple of weeks. Mid-December, probably just before Christmas, I'll bring that one out, and maybe there'll be a couple of other little videos as well if I get the chance to put them together. As always, thank you for tuning in, thanks for being patient. I know I haven't done a video for a while, and I shall be back soon. Please take care of yourself, and goodbye.